Imagine 60,000 snails in a literal salt-fueled torture chamber, their mucus glands milked like zit glue for a single drop of imperial purple hustle. Emperor Nero wasn't just flexing. He was dropping 30 pounds of gold bullion on a robe that smelled like fermented seafood and dead dreams, while peasants 2 streets over bartered their own toenails for moldy barley. You think Bitcoin bros are unhinged? Try a man who bankrupted Pergamon just to look like Grimace at a funeral. Romans called this dye Tyrian Purple. Phoenicians called it genocide by proxy, because enslaving 80 generations of sea snails to stain a towel the hue of rotting eggplant wasn't a red flag, it was a violet one. Each cloak required harvesting enough mollusk juice to fill a kiddie pool, reducing the Mediterranean's entire gastropod population to glorified tampons for royal insecurity. Julius Caesar once dropped the annual GDP of Gaul on a cape so ostentatious, Celtic warriors mistook it for a declaration of war, which it was. Meanwhile, your average pleb was rocking sackcloth soaked in fermented piss-yellow dye. Peasants thought purple robes were proof emperors had huffed too much leaded wine, like watching Elon Musk chrome wrap a Cybertruck while your kid gnaws on drywall for calcium. The Senate passed laws forbidding non-royals from wearing purple because nothing screams stable government, like fashion police executing a baker over sock color. Modern comparison. It's Kylie Jenner spraying divorce settlement champagne on a Birkin bag while Flint drinks sewer tea. The snail slime robe wasn't clothing. It was a collateralized stupidity obligation. When Emperor Caligula strutted in his mucus couture, he wasn't just bankrupting the empire. He was drop-kicking dignity into Mount Vesuvius. And the kicker, that dye faded to dull piss brown in sunlight. So for 3 tons of gold and an extinction-level event for invertebrates, you got a towel that aged like milk in a volcano. But hey, at least the peasants had front-row seats to history's dumbest flex. Nothing unites humanity like gawking at a ruler who trades bread for the liquid regret of sea slugs. The production pipeline resembled a Saw sequel directed by Food Network. Harvesters would rip thousands of mollusks from reefs alive, then chuck them into stone-lined putrefaction pits to marinate for months under the Mediterranean sun. Imagine a Kardashian closet redesigned as a Wuhan wet market. That's your Tyrian Purple factory. Workers stirred these rancid mollusk smoothies with ores that emerged looking like rejected prosthetics from John Carpenter's The Thing. This wasn't just dye manufacture. It was biochemical warfare avant la lettre. Pliny the Elder documented neighborhoods evacuating when the vats got stirred, the stench knocking birds out mid-flight. Modern comparison. It's your sourdough starter evolving sentience and filing a restraining order. The slime had to be fermented longer than my last marriage, approx. 150 days of controlled decomposition at dung heap temperatures. Instagram influencers would call it artisanal small batch extraction, ignoring that both the snails and the slaves processing them were actively hoping for death. Labor conditions made Amazon warehouses look like Club Med. Slave gangs smeared in gill-rot hauled baskets of putrid snail paste while breathing air thick enough to spread on toast. No OSHA meant workers' life expectancy rivaled mayflies, with one account noting, any man lasts 2 seasons becomes nose blind enough to spoon-feed typhus to orphans. They were paid in imperial gratitude and tetanus. If Bezos offered delivery drivers snail sludge hazard pay, they'd unionize faster than you can say, lapis lazuli enema. At least plebs got the thrill of knowing their suffering clothed emperors who'd later be assassinated mid-gloat in those very robes. Here's the kicker nobody mentions in design school textbooks. The actual process required industrial quantities of dog feces. Dyers used over-aged canine turds as a pH stabilizer, so every imperial cloak was essentially marinated in Great Dane diarrhea. Modern equivalent. Goop selling a vaginal steam cleanse kit while homeless shelters rationed toilet paper. But Caligula never once pondered why his cape smelled like a hound's colon mid-Chipotle binge. Status symbols always stink. The difference is billionaires today hide their desperation better. In an ironic twist worthy of Zeus's cruelest joke, Workers extracting this royal dye started hallucinating from shellfish toxin exposure. Scrolls describe dyers ranting about purple demons. Between vomiting black bile, Proto-Goop employees discovering their wellness adventure was just mercury poisoning with extra steps. Nero celebrated acquiring enough dye for a new toga by hosting a banquet where 5 attendees subsequently perished in a snail-related wine poisoning incident. Nothing screams exquisite taste like guests meeting Hades because your outfit leaked neurotoxins. And for what? To produce a color so associated with power that Nero carpeted his entire Domus Aurea banquet hall with excess dyed silks, enough fabric to strangle every god in the pantheon. Estimated snails vaporized, double Nevada's current snail population, all to create a rug so gaudy visiting diplomats thought they'd walked into Hades' Abercrombie and Fitch. It's like Zuckerberg spending $2.8 billion on a metaverse no legs meme while San Franciscans step over human feces. The entire species tunnel-visioned on mollusk genocide to satisfy ego stroking so grandiose, the very stench became part of the aristocracy's VIP flex, turning nasal assault into real-time class warfare. Imagine fermenting 10,000 snails in urine for 8 months, then smearing the rancid paste on silk thicker than a Kardashian's contour makeup. Each imperial toga reeked like Poseidon's armpit after a Spartan chili cook-off, yet senators wore them with psychopathic pride. They'd strut through Senate sessions leaking enough bromine compounds to fumigate a third-world brothel, watching peasants faint from the stench. Ancient poets recorded street dogs howling when a purple-clad noble passed biological warfare 18 centuries before Ypres. Here's the galaxy-brain logic archaeologists unearthed. Emperors deliberately let the dye oxidize until it crusted like a zombie's eczema scabs. The crunchier the textile, the higher your tax bracket. Byzantine Empress Theodora's ceremonial robe allegedly weighed 60 pounds, dead snail weight exceeding her own skeleton. She'd waddle into church looking like a cursed piñata, whispering to aides, "Does this mucus make my aureole look divine?" Wealth wasn't measured in gold but in how many citizens barfed at your hemline. Modern equivalent. Billionaires buying Jeff Koons balloon dogs while Flint kids drink leads scarcity theater with body count math. Then came the fashionista arms race of marooning cognition. Caligula, never satisfied with mere crusted sleeves, demanded live snails sewn into his cloak lining for dynamic texture. Imagine Senate meetings punctuated by mollusk death gurgles as Caesar pontificated about fiscal responsibility. His stylist later confessed that imperial footwear contained fermented sea hair glands for supple gait. A translation: emperor toes marinated in amphibian estrogen, sprouting enough mushroom cultures to supply a Portland vegan cafe. Little wonder historians describe Caligula's reign smelling like a dockworker's sepsis, with senators bribing gladiators to stand downwind. For the piece de resistance of aristocratic delusion, Constantinople's infamous Purple Rain incident of 512. Emperor Anastasius, bankrupting 3 provinces for his daughter's wedding gown, ordered streets drenched in diluted murex dye, so her carriage wheels would kick up regal splatter. Picture Times Square on New Year's Eve if the ball dropped herpes onto a sea slug orgy. Peasants caught in the crossfire emerged looking like rejected Muppets, while palace scribes chronicled Anastasius crying how proletarian at anyone failing to develop chemical burns. Modern mirror, Elon Musk flamethrowing his $80 billion into zitter while entire countries ration insulin, grotesque spectacle repackaged as visionary disruption. Meanwhile, empires collapsed beneath layers of powdered wigs and carefully curated incompetence, while peasants played Russian roulette with salads prepared by botanically challenged cooks wearing Kiss the Chef aprons. Cue the great tangled taproot tragedy of 1337, a culinary clusterfuck where the king's pantry staff mistook water hemlock for wild carrots. Royal deaths unfolded like a twisted cooking show episode. 1 bite of heritage root blend, 3 coughs into a silk handkerchief, and suddenly the Archbishop of Canterbury was breakdancing beneath the banquet table while screaming about flaming hedgehogs. Imagine the bear's Carmi Berzato trapped in a medieval kitchen where every cook's favorite spice is whatever won't kill the taste tester immediately. Agricultural incompetence reached PayPal mafia levels when King Philip, the fair's feasts required coroners on standby. His royal horticulturists, essentially Instagram wellness influencers with dirt under their nails, kept serving monkshood garnishes, convinced they'd discovered medieval kale. Consequences included a queen attempting to knight her tapestry, 7 barons vomiting in unison like synchronized swimmers, and one particularly unfortunate earl who mistook his own gangrenous foot for the Holy Grail mid-forkful. Modern equivalent, Gwyneth Paltrow selling strychnine-laced jade eggs as vaginal mindfulness aids. Then came the Avignon apocalypse of 1343, history's messiest dinner party. Pope Clement VI's chefs, aiming to impress cardinals with rustic peasant authenticity, accidentally stewed a bucket of death-cap mushrooms labeled "Fun Guys for Soup." 1. When the Prince Bishop of Mainz began speaking in tongues and denouncing the antipasto as Satan's crudité, surviving clergymen weaponized aged Gouda wheels against the kitchen staff. Eyewitnesses reported His Holiness crab-walking beneath the dessert cart, while a furious deacon bludgeoned a pastry chef with a Eucharistic wine decanter. Post-meal reviews simply noted, ambience divine, entrees heretical. Peak absurdity struck during Duchess Matilda's infamous Divine Tuber Gala fiasco. Obsessed with purple vegetables' alleged plague-blocking powers, her servants raided moldy root cellars for anything vaguely resembling produce. 3 visiting margraves expired after ingesting what toxicology scrolls later identified as fermented nightshade truffles marinated in donkey piss, served with a lovely thyme reduction. Their final words, Michelin Guide, gave 0 stars, before attempting to French kiss a stained glass window. 1-to-1 modern parallel. A Goop subscriber's charcoal lemonade cleanse colonoscopy on Bristol stool scale level 7 wrong. The true chef's kiss of stupidity. Royal physicians prescribed mercury smoothies to balance poisonous humors. Turning nobles into wheezing, hallucinating bobbleheads convinced their spleens were reciting Chaucer. Surgical journals read like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas outtakes. Lady Pembroke demands trepanation to release the singing badgers in her sinuses. Prescribed more mercury. All while peasants sold tickets to watch dukes projectile vomit into their family crests. Swap royal apothecaries for Tesla bros peddling radon-infused workout elixirs. And congratulations, you've invented Silicon Valley. Culinary misinformation climaxed during the Viennese vegetable schism, a 12-year slap fight over whether rhubarb leaves were God's communion wafers or Beelzebub's tortilla chips. Pope Urban VI notoriously declared eggplant, the Antichrist's swollen testicle, accidentally sparking a tax revolt when peasants mistook papal bulls for grocery circulars. Final analysis. Humanity's culinary ambitions make us crash-test dummies in God's malfunctioning air fryer. Much like my ex-husband Gary, who once convinced 3 TEDx attendees that snorting matcha powder optimized cognitive throughput. He now lives off-grid, convinced Siri is stealing his thoughts for HBO Max. Modern mirror. Crypto founders hosting toxin retreats, where venture capitalists microdose drain cleaner while their NFTs algorithmically generate cave paintings of Elon Musk's Twitter feed. The plates get fancier, but the clown show remains gluten-free. Enter the gastropod mafia of Bourbon France aristocrats paying 12,000 livers per ounce of snail slime, convinced it turned toenail clippings into aphrodisiac glitter bombs. Versailles slime cartels operated like an Elizabethan Theranos, promising immortality while causing facial necrosis that made noblewomen resemble half-melted wax figures of Guy Fawkes. A single slime-drenched handkerchief cost more than a peasant village's annual grain yield, triggering hyperinflation so severe King Louis Roman XIV briefly replaced gold coins with escargot shells stamped, "Trust me, bro." Sound familiar? Swap when chanted mucus. For Dogecoin and you've got the 17th century version of Sam Bankman-Fried's pool house. Except their FTX equivalent exploded because a duke's pet hedgehog ate the ledger. Meanwhile, in the carrot trenches of Nuremberg, farmers faced Europe's most unhinged botanical crime wave. Parsnips surgically dyed orange, shoving their way into royal stews like undercover Tupperware consultants. The Great Veggie Schism of 1676 wasn't some cute farmers' market debate. It involved state-funded carrot authenticity committees and a radish informant network. One burger was fined 200 silver marks for vegetable identify theft after passing off turnips as plebeian carrots, sparking lawsuits arguing whether root vegetables had souls. Legal transcripts read like a stoned philosophy major's fever dream. If a carrot cheats, is it treason or just vibes? Botanical courts appointed cabbage advocates for accused cucumbers in trials lasting longer than most modern marriages. Spoiler, they all ended like my third divorce, with someone setting a courthouse on fire and blaming spirit of dill. The modern mirror, crypto Karens spending their 401 KS on JPEG monkeys, while FDA lawsuits rage over lab-grown meat being soy-based heresy. Our collective IQ flatlines harder than a medieval peasant stabbing his neighbor over a suspiciously pointy potato. Fact: humans would rather burn entire civilizations debating pudding viscosity than admit we're wrong. So go ahead, hunt down that $7 algae latte or NFT-based timeshare. Humanity's never met a disaster it won't tongue-kiss like a drunk prom date. Just remember to tip your local feudal snail baron.